Hi everybody, it's Tamika Schilbe. Have you ever tried to change someone else and make them into what you want them to be? It might be a family member, often it's a partner, a spouse, a love, or it could even be someone like a best friend or someone that you work with or work for, or they work for you. And you might try to make them into something that they are not so that the relationship is easier, really easier for you, not necessarily easier for them. But I think most of us have done this before. And so I laugh a little bit because I think to myself, how's that going for you? How's that actually turning out? Yeah, it doesn't go well when we try to do this with other people. So maybe they're introverted and you want them to be more social. Maybe they're not spiritual and you want them to be spiritual. So you're trying to push certain things on them and certain ideas. Maybe you don't like the friends that they love to be with. Maybe you don't like the hobbies that really light them up. Maybe there's something about their health routine that doesn't meet your standards of approval. And you might even have really good intentions wanting them to be healthier. So you might feel justified in sort of trying to change them in that area. When we try to change the core of someone, it creates a power imbalance. So we are actually trying to be their teacher, their guide, their mentor. And I think we all do a little bit of that with each other, but it can become out of balance. And instead now of being in an equal partnership, we're like the school teacher trying to correct with a red pen the other person. And that doesn't feel good. We can't be intimate with someone like that, because we can't bring our true self, because our true self has all kinds of things that won't meet the standards of that critical teacher. So this is important to realize that sometimes when we think we're trying to change someone for the best, we can actually push them away. And then there's the smaller things that are actually, it's sometimes okay to try to get somebody to change the smaller things. So it might be, I'm thinking of one from a relationship of mine, is like, you can't leave your dirty socks on the kitchen counter. But what I do want to say about that is that they probably had, if they were speaking on this video, they'd probably be able to list 50 things that I was doing that needed adjustment. So those smaller things are things that it's okay when we try to make changes with someone else because we're sharing space together and we have a routine together. The other thing that's okay sometimes is if someone comes to you and says, I'm struggling with this, help me out. Can you help me with this? I really want your opinion. I really want you to be my guide in this way. But that's an exception because that person wants to make a change. The infinity perspective or the mountain perspective is this idea of seeing things from lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And this can be really hard in relationships because we are forced in a way to acknowledge that this person that we're with is with us for a temporary time. They're with us for this experience of being in relationship with us, but we don't rule them. We're not necessarily even with them forevermore. Maybe we are in our hearts, we're together forevermore, but that soul from an infinity or a spirit perspective is so unique and so individual and so purposeful. They have incarnated in this exact specific and particular way that they've shown up for you for a reason. Because if you think about spirit and the creation of a human being, a human baby that grows into an adult, it's absolute perfection. It's unique. It's on its own journey. We don't know where it's been in other lifetimes. We don't know where it's going next. But we do know that that being is on a path to learn specific lessons. And sometimes even, this is where when we're like, oh, I have this moral wisdom or this higher, smarter idea of what you should be doing, we forget that that individual on their life's journey needs to make mistakes. They need to muck around in the things that we think are wrong or not right. They need to experience that. And from an infinity perspective, it isn't actually not right. It's exactly what they need to be doing. Now, sometimes what this points to when we're trying to change someone so desperately is that they're really just not a good match for us, and that we need to move on and find someone else that's a better match for us, and that'll be more freeing for both us and the other person. Sometimes the reason we try to change people is because it's a way of avoiding our own stuff. It's a way of avoiding our own problems, because if we can focus on them and changing them, then we don't have to look in the mirror. Especially if you have any parts of yourself that can be controlling, it's super liberating to admit it. Whenever we're trying to control others, that's our own anxiety. That's just a different way that it shows up, and it can be kind of yucky to acknowledge that and label it like that, but it comes from a place of anxious fear. So if that person doesn't do what we need them to do, we feel like everything's out of order, and that's very stressful for us internally. Just acknowledging that's a scary place to be too. It may look dominating and domineering on the outside, but actually it's quite fragile on the inside. You can let go if you need to let go, whether it's letting go of control or letting go of being treated in a way that doesn't feel good for you. So I wish you so much joy on this path and so much love, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.